For today's video tutorial, I will be teaching you the different ways of how a person can lay brick. For this video, we're going to pretend that these little chocolate blocks are the bricks. First, we will start with some vocabulary. The first term you'll need to know to understand this video is a mortar joint. A mortar joint is the area that connects two bricks together. In this example, the mortar joints are the dark areas. So as you can see, this is a mortar joint right here. This is also a mortar joint, as well as this. These are areas where grout is laid and placed to connect the bricks once the grout hardens. The second vocabulary word, width. In laying bricks, one width is one width of bricks across the thickness of a wall. It's spelled W-Y-T-H-E and explains the width, one brick width. So in this example, there's two widths of the wall brick. A course, in contrast, is the horizontal layer of masonry units. So in this example, there are three courses in this wall. The first and most common way to lay brick is called a stretcher. That is when you lay the bricks end to end laid horizontally with its length in one direction of the face of the wall, with the mortar joints not lined up, as you can see in this figure. Another way to lay brick is using a header. A header is when you lay bricks with the end exposed so you can bond two widths together. A header in this situation is the top layer of bricks. As you can see, it bonds two widths together by connecting them with mortar from one width to the other. Another way of laying brick is known as a row lock, which is demonstrated in the top row of this figure. A row lock is when brick is laid on its edge with its end visible to the face of the wall. And a row lock, like a header, also is able to connect two widths of brick, as you can see from this. Yet another way to lay brick is a way known as a soldier. A soldier is when the bricks are laid vertically on their end with its face showing on the wall surface. Soldiers stand on their end and stand up tall with their skinny side facing out. Another way of laying brick is known as a sailor, in which the bricks are laid on their end upright with their fat side facing out. The top level of this example is known as a shiner, which is when a brick is laid horizontally on its face with its length in the direction of the face of the wall. In brick construction, there are many different joints that are used. In this example, underneath this top joint where the paper clips are laying is known as a bed joint, which is the horizontal layer of mortar beneath a masonry unit. Another joint is called a head joint, which is a vertical layer of mortar between ends of masonry units. So in this example, the paper clip, which goes in between the ends of the bricks, is called a head joint. Another joint is called a collar joint, which is a vertical mortar joint between two widths of masonry. In this example, the vertical paper clips standing up between these two widths show a collar joint. Next, I will explain the different types of bonds that are used to connect the bricks. A structural bond is an interlocking pattern of masonry units used to tie two or more widths together in a wall. In this example, you can see two layers of stretchers on the bottom and one layer of headers on the top. This is a structural bond because the top layer of headers connects the two bottom widths of stretchers. This is an example of a common bond, which is a structural bond of brickwork which usually contains 5 to 7 courses of stretchers followed by one course of headers. In this example, we only have 3 courses of stretchers and one header, but it explains the purpose of how the headers on the top connect the layers of stretchers below. This is an example of an English bond, which is a structural bond in which brickwork is laid with alternating courses which each consists entirely of headers or stretchers. So in this example, the top layer is entirely headers, the second layer is entirely stretchers, the third layer is entirely headers, and the fourth layer is entirely stretchers. Once again, this is known as an English bond. This is an example of a Flemish bond, which is a structural bond of brickwork laid with each course consisting of alternative headers and stretchers. So as you can see, in the bottom layer, the course goes header, stretcher, and alternates with each brick. This is once again known as a Flemish bond. Another bond, called a stack bond, is a non-structural bond consisting of brickwork entirely laid in stretchers with the vertical joints aligned. So as you can see, all the vertical mortar joints are lined up. A running bond is the most common type of bond, but is non-structural, and it consists of brickwork and with entirely stretchers in which the mortar joints are alternating in a way to keep the bricks together. As you can see, there's a wide variety of ways to lay bricks, many different types of joints and bonds that are used in brick construction. I hope this video was very helpful in teaching you the different ways, and I hope that you can use it in the future.